Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
We are not okay after this episode of WandaVision, but we're going to talk spoilers here, so if you haven't seen episode 8 of WandaVision, go no further.
Turn back.
We get Nerdy Nightly.
We thought we'd share it with you.
That is right.
Sorry, you do it the same every time, and I know it. I feel it.
It's a good way to start a video.
It is.
I don't know. It's like our branding.
Yeah.
I hate that word. I hate it so much. This episode of WandaVision is brought to you by sadness and despair.
And also trauma.
And like generational trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Wow. That was
spoilers.
A lot.
Spoilers. The entire thing is spoilers. Right. So we're gonna start with the opening scene. Magic is in the MCU. Like real magic exists in the MCU. Spells.
Enchantments.
Not
hexes.
Doctor Strange magic.
No.
Interesting that it's different. I guess it's like the Western version of Doctor Strange magic. Probably would be a good way to say it. Like I guess they're giving it like because Doctor Strange.
You mean like the European version?
Well, it's in Salem, so. But I'm saying like the
Doctor Strange.
All magic within the MCU has got to be like the similar magic, right?
Okay.
So what if this is just like the opening sequence starts in Salem in 1869, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
no, it's like
1693.
Yeah.
1693. And we meet Agatha Harkness being dragged to a pyre, being asked if she's a witch. And at first you're like, oh my god, they're gonna burn her. But then they bind her hands with magic, and you're like, oh no, wait, those are also witches. What is happening? Mm-hmm. Turns out, Agatha, always been super freaking evil. And then
all the 200 years.
Yeah, they're like, all right, you have to die. And they start shooting her with their blue magic.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, ow, oh, ow. And then she's
like, not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. She turns her blue magic purple and starts draining the life force out of them. In the twist that we all knew was going to happen, because we know that she survives.
Yeah.
She was in the last episode.
And then kills her mother.
Yeah, and then kills all the witches, kills her mother, and then is like the super witch.
Yeah.
Super witch. Super witch.
I really love thematic. Like, I love the colors. The red, the blue, and the purple. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really interesting that the barrier to Westview was blue before.
Mm-hmm.
As like kind of more like the generic magic color.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then was influenced more and more by Wanda and her emotions.
Mm-hmm. And then so we find out that magic is real. I mean, obviously, I shouldn't have said that at the beginning because magic is obviously real. Doctor Strange does magic. But this other form of magic. When I said that it's the Western version, I'm just assuming that this is how they teach magic in the Western part of the world.
Yeah, because Agatha makes it sound like this requires a lot of study.
And like spells.
Like years and years of knowledge and craft and study and dedication.
And we've never seen Doctor Strange use spells. He does his like hand gestures, which are probably the equivalent of spells, right? But we've never seen him say Italian or like Latin
verbal
words.
Incantations.
Yeah. And that was really interesting to watch in the MCU because the MCU just has always felt more scientific. Even Doctor Strange, because of the way his brain works in that movie, and because it's all like these very perfect circles and shapes and diagrams, it always feels somewhat scientific.
Yeah, this is much more free-flowing, open. Like, his magic has a structure to it, and this is kind of nebulous, which is interesting.
And honestly, that was one of the best opening sequences of any Marvel thing. If I'm going to be completely honest. Like, as far as opening scenes go for a Marvel production, that was one of the coolest opening sequences we've had yet.
Yeah, I was floored.
It completely reset the tone of the entire show. Because, we came out of the last episode with Agatha all along, which was this, like, funny introduction to a villain. Agatha's kind of funny. She's, I think it was Penfred Nudo in my Instagram post said that it reminded him of the Munsters theme, which was a really good call. And so this really reset the clock on that a little bit to remind us that Agatha is like dangerous and dark and like she is scary to someone like Wanda Maximoff, who gets her name We'll get to that. But after this opening sequence, we go back to her basement where Wanda has trapped, Agatha has trapped Wanda with rune words that Wanda doesn't know what they are. And I really love this take of Agatha is messing with Wanda because she wants more power. She's power hungry. She wants to know how Wanda is so powerful.
And seems genuinely confused by, like, didn't you see the rune? Like, obviously you should know this because you are using magic. Whereas, we know that Wanda's magic is not the same. And
so this leads us on this episode-long journey of Agatha trying to discover the truth about Wanda by going into her memories. And this is where this episode gets fascinating from, like, the lore of the MCU kind of thing.
And also just ruins your soul.
So sad.
Like
just aggressively sad.
Yeah. I was like, okay, just gonna cry.
We go back to Wanda's childhood home in Sokovia with the parents, and I am vindicated because this whole time, all the spoiler chats,
like in episode 2, I think it was, you were like, why? Maybe it might have even been episode 1.
Well, because episode 1 and 2 are the same.
Oh, you're right. Why
this whole time I've been like, why sitcoms?
Why
it doesn't
American
make
sitcoms?
Any sense for a Sokovian person to be so obsessed with sitcoms. They have to explain this. There has to be a reason, and there is, and it's because it's what she watched with her parents when there was like bombs going off, and literally they were watching the Dick Van Dyke Show when her parents died. Oh my god! Yeah. Of course, her brain goes to sitcoms. It's trauma. She's reliving all of her traumas through sitcoms, and that is awful.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
It is.
And her parents seem so sweet.
Oh my god, I know. Like that whole like scene, I was like, oh, this is so lovely. And like the moment the bomb dropped and exploded actually like shook me. I wasn't expecting it, and I should have been. You know what I mean? We're vaguely familiar with her story.
Yeah, I kept expecting Agatha to step in and just be like, oh, so this is why it's sitcoms. I thought they were gonna... I thought it would be more of a, like, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing like that. The actual, like, explosion was so violent. Yeah. That it was shocking to watch. Yeah, honestly, it was shocking to watch.
It was.
But it was really... It was nice to see... This is gonna sound messed up, but it was nice to see how wonderful a little family they had despite everything going on outside their door. Yeah. Because it makes the loss worse. Yes. The fact that there
dramatically, it was the right choice.
Yeah, and the fact that Wanda has lived such a difficult life, but still managed to have so many wonderful relationships in it. Her parents were a wonderful relationship. Her relationship with her brother was really caring and wonderful, and then her relationship with Vision was also very caring and wonderful. Yeah. I think that's such I think it's really cool that they took that approach to make it more traumatic for me as a human to watch her lose all of those things. Yeah. Again. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump a little bit here, but I think what really made it special is reaffirmed who Wanda is as a person, because we find out later that Wanda goes to Sword. Yeah. And is let in and is taunted with Vision's body as they pull it apart and literally pick his brains in a sense. Yeah. And despite all that, like, I was expecting her to rage, steal the body, freak out, and burn the building to the ground and leave, and she didn't. And I think that like us having that scene in the beginning, she is such a like well-rounded and incredible character because of that. Yeah. I just feel so much sympathy and empathy for her, and also making the brave choice in the face of what they were doing to Vision. Like, I can't even imagine what she was going through, what was going through her head, and yet she left without hurting anybody except breaking a bit of glass.
They deserve it.
They deserve it.
But they also, like, the interesting thing about that scene for me is that it introduces the idea that had Wanda actually attacked them, I wouldn't have been mad at her. No. The way that scene was played out, I expected her to. I was like, let them have it. Like, yeah. The way that scene played out, I was like, Sword is doing something wrong. Like, there's something wrong happening here. So that scene plays twofold, right? We learned that Wanda did not attack Sword.
Mm-hmm.
She was let in. She may have like busted open the one door and then broken some glass, but like she did minor property damage.
Yeah.
And we learned that Wanda isn't as villainous as Haywood has previously portrayed her.
No.
And in doing that, we also learned that Haywood is not a good dude.
No. And Haywood is
Shocking.
making...
I'm so surprised.
I know, right? Haywood is making her the villain.
Yeah.
It's manipulative and it's purposeful and it's I really I say it every week, but I cannot wait for next week because I need to know what the point is, and I feel like the point honestly is like weaponizing Vision and getting rid of Wanda so that she's not a threat. But like this whole thing is so complicated and convoluted that it's gonna be I can't wait to see it all unfold.
Yeah, I also think that it's interesting. We just so we don't skip over the scene, we did see the scene where she is with Hydra and they introduce her to the Mind Stone.
Yes.
That scene was interesting because the Mind Stone shows her the comic Scarlet Witch, which is fascinating, right? Like the idea that we've stayed away from the comics costume for Scarlet Witch until the Halloween episode, and then Wanda manifests this Halloween version of her Scarlet Witch outfit without anything to draw that off of. It just kind of came out of the back of her head. That moment in the Halloween episode mixed with this moment with the Mind Stone makes me think that this is a subconscious thing. Mm-hmm. And then we get to the next scene, which is Agatha revealing to... we get to the next scene, which is Wanda goes to Westview. And, you know, this whole time we've all been kind of wondering why this town in New Jersey, Vision had bought them a plot of land there. And she walks into her house with her deed. And she loses control of her powers. Yeah. And what's really interesting about that moment and the rest of the show is it does not absolve Wanda from the way that she's controlled people's lives, right? Yeah. That is still the wrong thing to do. But there is a story now being told about the fact that she is not in control. She has the idea of control, but her powers are controlling her. Yeah. And they did such a good job of twisting that knife right at the end with Agatha saying that it's chaos magic, you are the Scarlet Witch. Meaning that she's a prophecy thing. She is... I jumped out of bed.
Yeah, like David screamed.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was very excited in that moment. Not about the two boys who were being choked. That was a little...
Yeah, that's weird, dark.
But, we still don't know if they're real or not.
Yeah, that's why it's...
Where are they from?
Odd.
But the story of how much control Wanda has in this whole situation is really the story of whether or not she comes out of this as a good person or not.
Yeah, or if she is kind of consumed by her powers, like if she just is not strong enough. Because the interaction with the stone, you know, they say no one else has been able to interact with it and live. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she does. But obviously there are costs to those kind of things. Yeah. I also think it was really well done how they, because obviously Vision is part of the Mind Stone. It's like a...
What do you mean he's part of it?
Like so she interacts with it, right? Mm-hmm. And she gets her powers. And Vision uses it, and that's how he is a thing.
It is a part of his consciousness, yeah.
Yes, it is, a part of his consciousness.
Well, maybe.
Question mark. But him being recreated out of her magic with the red and then the yellow orange of like the Mind Stone was really, really well represented. Because I don't think... it just kind of like clicked. Yeah. I don't know what it means yet, but it just kind of clicked, and why like they like how she was able to like literally recreate him. And I think it's because her powers are obviously from the stone. There was so much in that episode. I like my mind.
Well, and it was nice, right? Because in a way, it was the simplest episode of the show so far. It told a really simple story about her past and how it led to her present. There aren't a lot of characters. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's really just like...
It was also very complicated.
It was, it was emotionally complicated. But like from a structure standpoint, it was pretty straightforward flashback episode.
For sure.
It just happened to be so emotionally rich. And that's what I think is so successful about it. Yeah. It's not action heavy. When they started to go back in time, I expected to go back to, like, oh, we're gonna go back to the first time she met the Avengers. I was expecting full-on Endgame, like, and now Wanda is watching Vision die again in the fields of Wakanda, you know, and we didn't get that, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they focused more on her. The one thing I kind of missed was when they were in the Hydra scene to not see Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Because I understand why Scarlet Witch gets her powers from the Mind Stone now, but I don't actually understand. It actually makes it more not complicated, more confusing how Quicksilver survived the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Maybe because they're twins, they're two halves of that, and this opened up kind of questions as far as where is Aaron Taylor Johnson and why did he end up with powers as well? Yeah,
I was wondering that as well, and I keep waiting for them to comment on the fact that it's a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep I thought we would have that moment and Agatha be like, wait, who's know, like it, because I'm so confused by all of that.
When Agatha brings up Quicksilver, the fake Pietro, and she's like, well, necromancy was out of the question because his body's in another continent
and riddled with bullet holes.
I was like, jeez.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you are nasty.
I love Catherine Hahn. She's so good in this show.
So good.
She's so good.
She's perfect.
Yeah, and she's so funny and also so menacing.
Yeah. I'm, like, she scares me.
How much did you hate the scene where she put the bug on Elizabeth Olsen's face?
Yeah.
I did not like that.
No, thank you.
It set up Agatha well, but, like, I don't want bugs on me.
No.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
So she's the Scarlet Witch now.
Yeah, they literally said it out loud.
That also, the Mind Stone, the vision from the Mind Stone totally gives Marvel the leeway to give her the full costume. And I hope in the finale we get the full costume. Not the Halloween scene one. I want a cool Marvel take on the full costume with the pointy ears.
Yeah, I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hope we get it.
I don't know what happens next. Let's just get to the mid-credit scene. White Vision.
Yeah,
West Coast Avengers! Bum, bum, bum! That was a Geek History Lesson joke for all of you. Jason and Ashley, please don't sue me. That is your theme song. I know.
You're like, please don't.
I'm not stealing. I just am referencing Geek History Lesson, one of my favorite podcasts, which you should go listen to. And Jason Inman's book is on Kickstarter right now, so go donate to that. It's I want it to make money so that I can have a copy.
Fair enough.
But we get the White Vision from the comics. Famously, I was telling Clarice this. Vision was originally supposed to be white in his original creation, but because of the publishing process and the actual printing process, they weren't able to do that, and so he ended up being red.
Yeah.
And so the White Vision obviously became a thing later on in the comics. In the West Coast Avengers run is probably where people mostly know White Vision from. But that is Vision. In the comics, it is still Vision when he's white, as far as I'm aware. This is going to be a different thing.
Yeah, this is like dead Vision brought to life with a bit of Wanda's power that we don't know if he is sentient the same way, if he has his memories, if he's a literal, like, automaton with no freedom of will. Like, it just, I have so many questions.
I have a lot of questions about that, but I also have a lot of questions about...
what happened when Vision tried to leave?
Yes, and also why Vision was independent at all.
What do you mean?
Like Vision had some modicum of independence within Westview, right?
Yes, which I think is probably, like, I think they'll explain with the Mind Stone that, like, her powers literally gave him new life.
Or,
in this sense.
Or, stick with me here. The Mind Stone is able to create magic, is able to give magic, right? And Vision was an AI, but became more than an AI when they attached the Mind Stone to him. What if Vision actually, I don't want to say a soul, because that gets complicated, but what if there is an essence to Vision beyond the zeros and ones of an android, and that still exists? And Scarlet Witch was able to bring... I love that I can call her Scarlet Witch now. She's finally Scarlet Witch. She was able to bring that into existence again. And so the Vision in Westview is the actual essence of the real Vision. and the body comes in, and she's able to like merge them. And what if the merging of them is how Vision comes back?
Oh yes, I would love that.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
That
I think the end
like
of the show is going to be very sad.
Yeah, that would be like our perfect happy ending. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but
no, she's gonna kill that white Vision, and she's gonna cry while she does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's gonna have to kill her kids.
Wow.
Maybe
like
not. I don't think they would do that. That's too dark for Marvel.
Like they haven't tortured her enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Are the kids gonna be real? Do you think the kids are real?
I don't think.
And how quickly do you think Marvel ages them up for the next movie?
I don't know. They either are real and like become like age themselves up to be adults to be like functioning, or we won't see them again after the show.
I don't know. It would be kind of a lost. It would be unfortunate because they're both great in the comics, but Wiccan especially is a great character in my opinion, and so I would love to see both of them continue on, but it is tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Next week's episode. Ooh.
I know. I want it now.
I just don't know. Like watching her meet White Vision.
It's gonna be really
It's gonna
hard.
be brutal, and also like now we didn't see Photon this whole Monica Rambeau. We didn't see her this whole.
Oh, I was gonna say we
episode.
hadn't seen Monica at all. So like because
so
she
much
was
more.
apprehended by fake Pietro.
We didn't see the Westview Vision or Darcy. Like we didn't see the majority of the characters in this episode. We still haven't met the aerospace engineer. There is a lot that has to happen in this final episode.
Well, I think the final episode, because isn't there supposed to be a set number of hours? Like maybe this next episode is like 2 hours.
Maybe. I would like that. Maybe 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like it to be
This
long.
episode was 47 minutes.
Please, I need more.
Yes.
I'm begging.
There's also just a lot to wrap up. Like.
Yeah. That's why I think it's going to be a long episode, and I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah. This show's so good. It's
so
so good.
I think I might be enjoying it more than The Mandalorian.
Really?
Yeah. I've been thinking about it since we watched the episode, and maybe it's because I'm right in the middle of it, and obviously it hasn't wrapped up and everything, but like, it's just so creative and so cool, you know. Not to knock on The Mandalorian at all. It's been one of my favorite shows, but like this.
I think the characters also maybe have more depth, which is why I think that it's also it is also characters that we have known for years.
Yes, and we are familiar with their humanity.
Yeah. Also, the lead is not wearing a helmet, and the second lead is not a child that doesn't speak.
He's a puppet. Yeah.
He's a puppet.
Yeah.
He's a little Muppet. He's the cutest little Muppet, isn't he? Isn't he the cutest little Muppet? Isn't he so cute? Isn't he so cute?
If you guys liked WandaVision, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it,
please let us know how.
You're wrong. You're
The
wrong.
show is so
and I will
good.
fight you on it.
If you want to check out more of our content, like and subscribe to this channel, like this video, and go to these handles up here. Twitch.tv/nerdynightly is where I play video games.
Yeah, I'm over at twitch.tv/ClarisDacaris.
And on Monday mornings, we do the Nightly Morning Show live, so come check that out, 10 a.m. Eastern, over on the Nerdy Nightly. Anything else you want to plug?
Nope. Just join me for Skyrim tomorrow. It's the final episode of The Night King.
The final episode of The Night King. You're gonna kill a bunch of people, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm basically gonna
Murderer.
slaughter everyone in Whiterun and then use their corpses to attack other cities.
I think that might happen in Westview next week too. As always, my name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye.
Bye.